Shalom, shalom. This is Rabbi Moshe Taro. We are continuing on this series, Do Demons Exist? We've seen in the last videos that in fact, according to rabbinical literature and according to Judaism, demons do exist. As a matter of fact, there was an explosion of, you might say, possessions and sages exorcising demons in the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th century, even the 19th century, that we can be able to find their records of exorcism. And we'll go into exorcism in some of the later videos, but right now we're just looking at the question, do demons exist? Definitely join our YouTube channel, which we're dealing with all these matters. All of these videos that I'm doing right now live on Facebook will be recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel for those of you who wish to study this topic. The kings of the devils were given names, but not the numbers of their hosts who are known by the kings, such names as Samuel and his host, Ashmedai and his host, and Ashmedai generally considered the son of Naamah, the sister of Tubal Cain, but sometimes also known as the son of King David, and Agrat, the queen of the demons. Numerous names of demons have come from Arabic tradition. Among them should be also mentioned Bilar, also Bilad, Belid, the third king who succeeded Ashmedai. Bilar is merely a misspelling of Satan's name of Bilar. And several apocalypse in early Christian literature, which thus return to Jewish tradition via foreign sources. He plays an important role in the practical Kabbalistic literature, and from it disguised itself as Bilet. It came into the German magical literature associated with the story of Dr. Faust. The seal of the king is described in detail in the book of Beret Menucha in Amsterdam, 1648. The other demons too have seals, and those who know them can make them appear against their will. There are drawings which are preserved in manuscripts of practical Kabbalah. Like I said earlier, practical Kabbalah is prohibited by the rabbis. The names of the 7 kings of demons in charge of the 7 days of the week, and very popular, and Jewish demonology were derived from Arabic tradition, prominent of them among them. And like we will take a look at, the demonology is found at the time of the expulsion of Spain in particular, and a lot of these type of mental illnesses that can be also associated to demon possession. But of them are Maimon the Black and the Shemin Hurish, judge of the demons. Other systems originating in the Spanish Kabbalah put the 3 kings of Halama, Samuel, and Kafuni at the head of the demons. And this, you'll find this in the Sefer HaHeshek, in the Masoretic text in the British Museum. Our systems of demonology are connected with a list of angels and demons in charge of the night hours of the 7 days of the week, or the demonological interpretation of diseases such as epilepsy. Such sources are the Seder Goral HaOleh and the Sefer HaNe'elavim. You'll see that in Gershon Shlochem Sholem, work of Ketivei Yad Be'Kabbalah. These systems are not necessarily connected with Kabbalistic ideas, and some obviously precede them. A complete system of Kabbalistic demonology was presented after the period of the Zohar in Sibat Ma'aseh HaEgel Ve'inyan HaShadim, and that's in the Masoretic text of Sassoon 56, which develops internal Jewish motif. A combination of the Zohar and Arab sources characterizes the book of Zifonei Ziyoni by Menachem Zion of Cologne. It enumerates a long list of important demons and their functions while preserving the Arabic names. This book was one of the channels through which Arab elements reach practical Kabbalists among the Jews of Germany and Poland, and they recur often, albeit with errors. And like I said, the whole entire materials in writings of Kabbalistic writings are filled with purpose deviation in order to keep people out. In collections of demonology in Hebrew and Yiddish, one of the most important among these is Shochen's manuscript 102, dating from the 18th century. Among the North African and Near Eastern Jewish or Jew element of Kabbalistic and Arabic demonology were combined even without literary intermediaries or particular interest in Sassoon's manuscript of 290. The collections of remedies and amulets composed by Sephardi scholars abound in collections of remedies. In amulets composed during this kind of material. This is why you see many rabbis today, Sephardic in particular, all involved in the Kabbalistic. Please bear with me when I say nonsense, because I hold to a lot of the Rambam's point of view, a lot of hocus pocus, abracadabra, which, by the way, abracadabra is a Hebrew term, but you'll understand why many people are somewhat indifferent to all of this aspect of demonology, of the spiritual world, though it does exist. The collections of remedies and amulets composed by Sephardic scholars abound in this kind of material. An outstanding example of the complete mixture of Jewish, Arab, and Christian elements is found in the incantation of the book of Mafte'ah of Shlomo and Clavicula Salunis, in the collection of 17th century, published in the facsimile of Valence in 1914. King Zauba'ah and Queen Zumit also belong to the Arab heritage. A rich German heritage in the field of demonology is preserved also in the writings of Yehuda Hasid and his disciples Menachem Zion's commentary on the Torah. According to the testimony of Nachmanides, it was the custom of Ashkenazic Jews to dabble in matters concerning the demons, to weave spells and send them away, and to use them in several manners. In Teshuvot HaRashba HaMeyuhasot La Rabban, number 283, the Maaseh book in the Yiddish and English translation lists a numerous details about the Jewish Ashkenazic demonology of later Middle Age. It seems like the Spanish has their list of demons, and the Ashkenaz have their list of demons, the Arabs have their list of demons, and the Christians have their list of demons. Incredible. The Maaseh book lists numerous details about the Jewish belief in elements originating in scholarly magic literature, as well as the names of demons whose origins were in Christian magic were introduced from Christian demonology. These spread not later than 15th century among the Jews to Germany. Demons such as Astaroth, Beelzebub in many forms, and their like became fixtures in incantation and list of demons. A detailed Kabbalistic system of demonology is found in the time of the expulsion of Spain, and there you'll find it in the book called Malach HaMashiv. These revelations were attributed to the Kabbalist Joseph Tatzatzak of Salonika, and this system of hierarchy of demons is headed by Samuel, the patron of Edom and Ammon, and of No Alexandria, a patron of Egypt who also represents Islam. Islam has, by the way, their own beliefs in demons and in evil spirits as well. And so you'll find also in the works of Chaim Vital, who tells us about devils and demons who are composed from only one of the four elements, in contrast to the opinion of Nachmanides mentioned above. This view has its origin in European demonology, the Renaissance, and periods of time after the Spanish Inquisition. Isaac Luria Kabbalah often mentioned various kalipot, shells which have to be subdued via observance of Torah and mitzvot, but it does not generally give them the proper name and make them into devils as such. The process reached a peak the Sefer Karnayim by Samuel of Ostropol, who gives many klipots different names which were not found in the ancient sources. This book is the last original text in Kabbalistic demonology. Some of the details, according to Isaac of Acre, the devils have only 4 fingers, like a thumb, so it's like this. The book of Emek HaMelech of Amsterdam, 1648, mentioned demons called Kasilim, or fooling spirits, because they fool They misguide people on his way and they poke fun at him. Hence, presumably the appellation of lazim, jesters, occurring in later literature and in popular usage for low-power type of demons, those who throw about their household goods and the like a poltergeist, as it were. The beginning of the 17th century, demons were called Shad, which is Shin Dalit, and it's mentioned as Shomer Dapim, guard of the pages. He injures a man who leaves his holy books open. According to a popular belief of German Jews, the four queens of the demons rule over the 4 seasons of the year. And once every 3 months, as it turned out the season, their menstrual blood falls into the water and poisons them. And it is therefore forbidden to drink the water at the change of the season. A special place in demonology is allotted to the Queen of Shiva, who was considered one of the queens of the demons and is sometimes identified as Lilith. For the first time in the Targum, in Job chapter 1, sometimes identified as Lilith in the Zohar and subsequent literature, refers to her. The motif of the battle between the prince and the dragon, or demonic reptile representing the power of the Klippa, who imprisoned the princess, is widespread in various forms of demonology of the Zohar. Dragon is the name of the king of the demons, who is mentioned in Sefer Hasidim. According to Chaim Vital, 4 queens of the demons rule over Rome, 4, and over Salamanca, and Agrath, and over Egypt, Rachav, and over Damascus, Na'amah. According to Abraham Galanti, until the confusion of the language, there existed only 2 of the holy language, Hebrew being one of them, and the language of the demons. Belief in demons remained a folk suspicion among some Jews in certain countries. In other words, it's folklore, superstition. And here we end the idea of the basic concept of, do we believe that there exist demons? According to Judaism, the answer is yes. Now I'm going to end here by introducing 2 other areas that we're going to be looking at regarding demonology, or regarding the idea of demon. One has to do with the work of Eliakim Wilner, who is the author of Nesivot Olam and Nesev HaTorah, which is a study regarding the teachings of the Maharal of Prague. Now, Maharal of Prague obviously lived during this period of time of medieval age, in which he brings about the philosophy and practice of prayer. And it is believed that he also was involved in exorcism of many demons of his time, both Jewish and non-Jewish. And so many of what's called mazikim and shadi'im is general terms for forces with malign intent, forces that aim to cause harm and damage. As a matter of fact, in our society, we are able to see that they're all around us. They're all around us, and they influence many times the happenings of what takes place on a daily basis. But one thing is very clear. We need to come to the realization of what is called Tehiyeh Hashem. In other words, that put complete trust in God and God alone, and not in these other powers. Now, Rabbi Ariel Sadok, which you have probably seen him on various Facebook pages posting a lot regarding Kabbalah and the school of kosher Torah, he is really involved in this idea of a Kabbalistic approach of demonology, and that they exist in the spiritual realm. Like I said, we discourage it. We don't encourage it for basic reasons, that it opens a person up to a lot of potential harm. But he makes mention of one rabbi, in which he has a whole entire PDF on, which I have taken down, and I basically wanted to take a look at what he was talking about. Rabbi Yehuda Fatiya of Jerusalem. According to him, he was the exorcist and the Kabbalist who basically won the Second World War by casting out, as it were, from the whole entire Eretz Israel, these spiritual impure demons that were basically in possession of Eretz Israel. And there's a whole entire PDF that you can probably download if you go to his website, which is at koshertorah.com. you let him know I mentioned. He mentions Rabbi Fatia was a student of Rabbi Ben-Ishai, and was believed to be the reincarnation of Rabbi Yehuda Landau, a great Ashkenazic halachist. Now, interesting enough, a lot of the mystical ties into the idea of reincarnation. Those of you who are learning with me with Rabbi Albo in English and the Sefer HaIkarim will understand Rabbi Albo, just like Rambam, wasn't much of one who basically believed in the idea of reincarnation. Let me say that again. It is not a necessary doctrine to be able to follow Judaism, the belief of reincarnation, as well as the belief of all these superstitious ideologies of demons and so forth. But yet, our sages tell us they do exist. They're all around us. This is the reason why they encourage Jews everywhere to say the Shema at nighttime. And we're going to look at some basic instruments of how to be able to make sure you're free from all of these negative influences. One thing is for sure, there are certain central forces in which are drawn into this arena of unclean spirits and unclean entities that a person can pick up, as it were, through different ways of interacting. One of it is by the immoral practices. As a matter of fact, this is one of the things that describes the Sodomites, those who were basically involved in homosexual practices. Since they were emitting semen, these semen became their devils or demons that would torment the individuals. And lo and behold, just a recent article came out regarding 2 LGBTQ activists that basically took their adopted children, which they adopted, and basically sodomized these adopted children, and also sold them out to pedophiles to also have them sodomized. So we need to understand our country has been open now to these powers of, you want to call it demonic, diabolical, unclean spirits to go on the rampage. Yes, and this is the reason why I call people to return back to God and God's Torah, because we need to literally exercise, remove these influences from our children. They are doing major damages. And you want to call them demons, call them demons. Call them whatever you want, but they are infecting our society and our world. And unless we speak the truth with truth, people will realize, oh, you're just nonsense. Not nonsense. These powers and influence take place. Never forget one particular case that a child basically wanted to leave a particular place because the child felt these forces coming at him. And of course, there was a gathering of, you got it, these type of individuals that were basically grooming children for this purpose. Children have that innocent sense, and they know when danger is close by, because these spirits, unclean spirits, which mocks people, which basically make fun of people, are the ones that are operating behind the scenes, as it were. It's not a conspiracy. This is basically part of religious Jewish beliefs. Not only religious belief, but even those who are Christians, who are Muslims, believe and understand this. That is part of their belief systems. So yes, do demons exist? Let me squarely answer that question after going through these 4 parts of this question. The answer is yes. Now, how do we operate and how do we understand them? How do we protect ourselves is the next series that we will continue on this topic about demons. Shalom, shalom. Have a Shabbat Shalom Mevorak. And may you be blessed with the knowledge of above by learning from the Torah, from the rabbis, and the most important thing, to learn to give over your life to God and God alone.